If you're learning English, you definitely know the feeling. You've got something you want to say, but your brain has to go find the words in your own language first and then translate them into English. It feels so slow, right? Kind of clumsy. And honestly, it's one of the biggest frustrations out there for learners. So let's dive into this and figure out a better way. Does this sound familiar? You're right in the middle of a great conversation, and by the time you finally translated what you want to say in your head, the moment's just gone. That constant back and forth translation, it's like a huge wall standing between you and real fluency. But what if? What if you could just get rid of it completely? Okay, so the goal here is to build what we call an English brain. And listen, this isn't some kind of magical idea. It's a real, tangible skill you can develop. It's that awesome feeling when you hear English and you just get it instantly. And when it's your turn to talk, the words just flow, without that awkward translation step slowing everything down. Here's a super simple way to think about it. In your own language, when you see a cup of coffee, you don't think, oh, that's a container with a hot brown liquid. No, you just know it's coffee. That's it. It's instant. That effortless, immediate connection is exactly what we're shooting for with English. All right, so why is this such a big deal? And more importantly, how is it even possible to do this? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of why your brain is already wired to make this happen. Relying on translation all the time, it has some real downsides. Your conversations get slower, which, let's be honest, is a killer for your confidence. And think about this. While you're busy in your head translating what someone just said, you're totally missing what they're saying now. It's a habit that really holds you back across the board. Reading, writing, all of it. Okay, let's think about how we all learn to speak in the first place. Babies, right? They don't sit down with grammar books. They connect sounds directly to what's happening around them. A baby hears milk while they're drinking milk, and boom, a direct connection is made. Now, as adults, we tend to fall back on translating just because we already have this whole other language system running. But here's the really cool part. Our brains are amazing at forming new habits, no matter how old we are. And there's a really cool scientific reason for this. It's called neuroplasticity. All that means is that your brain has this incredible ability to physically rewire itself, to build new connections and new habits. It doesn't matter your age. Seriously, it means it is never too late to teach your brain this new trick. Okay, so we get the why and we get the how. Now for the good part, the action plan. This is your practical 5-step blueprint to actually start building that English brain starting right now. And look, the solution isn't some huge, complicated secret. It's a really straightforward process for actively retraining your brain's habits. When you follow these steps, you're doing more than just learning English vocab. You're literally building the foundation for true natural fluency. All right, let's break these 5 steps down. First up, surround yourself. Basically, make English the soundtrack to your life. We're talking music, podcasts, hey, even changing the language on your phone works wonders. Number 2, and this is a big one, speak without fear. Seriously, your goal is just to communicate, not to be perfect. Every single mistake you make is actually proof that you're learning. Third, think in English. Start really small here. Just be your own internal narrator. Okay, now I'm making coffee. Simple stuff. Fourth, learn in context. Forget memorizing random word lists. Instead of just the word expensive, learn a whole phrase like, wow, that car is way too expensive. It sticks so much better. And finally, number 5, practice daily. Consistency is everything. Even just 5 minutes a day, every day, makes a massive difference. Okay, so that's the blueprint. But what does this actually look like on, a normal Tuesday? Let's get really practical and talk about a daily workout routine you can start literally today. So here are 4 practical exercises for your daily workout. And they're simple, but trust me, they're powerful. First, thinking practice. Just look around the room right now and start naming things in English in your head. Red book, bright lamp, see? Easy. Next, listen and repeat. Find a short podcast clip or something, listen to just one sentence, hit pause, and then say it out loud. Try to copy the sound and the rhythm. Third, speak to yourself. I know it feels a little weird at first, but narrating what you're doing, like I'm washing the dishes, is an incredible tool. And last, a daily diary. You don't need to write a novel, just 2 or 3 sentences in English about your day. That's it. It builds such a powerful habit. Now, as you get started on this, it's just as important to know what not to do. There are 3 really common traps that a lot of learners fall into, and they can totally slow you down. So let's make sure you know how to avoid them. Really, this all comes down to shifting your mindset. So instead of stressing out about every little grammar rule, just focus on one thing. Can the other person understand you? And instead of being afraid of making mistakes, see them as a good sign. It means you're actually trying. And when you catch yourself translating, don't worry about it. Just gently nudge your brain back to thinking directly in English. All right, let's pull all this together into a super quick daily routine. I'm talking 10 minutes. That's all you need. First, you listen to a little bit of English. Then you just think about what you heard for a second. Next, you speak for a minute or 2, even if it's just to yourself. And finally, you review one new word or phrase in context. That's the whole thing. Listen, think, speak, review. It's a simple little cycle, but it works wonders. And at the end of the day, all of this is powered by having the right mindset. You've got to celebrate the small wins. Did you understand a song lyric you never got before? That's huge. Pat yourself on the back. And please, don't compare your progress to anyone else's. This is your journey. So just be patient, be kind to yourself, and most importantly, just be consistent. Just remember this one thing. Building an English brain isn't about some giant, heroic effort. It's all about the small daily steps that add up over time. It's the little things you do every single day that make the biggest difference. So let me ask you, what's the one small step you're going to take today?
Hey, welcome! You're here because you want to take your English to the next level, right? Well, today we're talking about something that will completely change the game for you, building an English brain. Sounds cool, right? Let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? Someone asks you a question in English and your mind just freezes. There's this little pause while you're frantically translating in your head before you can even start to think of an answer. It's so frustrating. And trust me, you are not alone in feeling that way. So look at this. It really breaks it down. On one side, you've got translating. It's slow, it's frustrating, and it just feels, well, unnatural. But on the other side, that's where we want to be, thinking in English. Fast, confident, and totally natural. That jump from one side to the other, that's the entire goal. And that's why we call it the translation trap. It's a real trap. It slows you down, makes every conversation feel like a pop quiz,
and it just eats away at your confidence. Getting out of that trap is honestly the most important first step you can take towards speaking English fluently.
Okay, so how do we escape? The answer is by building something we call an English brain. Now, I know that might sound a little weird, but just hang with me here. It's a super powerful idea, and it's totally practical. Let's break down what it really means. So what is it? It's pretty simple, actually. Having an English brain just means you process English directly. You hear it, you get it, you have an idea, it just comes out in English. There's no middleman, you know? No little translator in your head that has to approve everything first. It's just direct.
Here's the perfect example. When you look at a cup of coffee, you don't think the word for it in your native language and then translate it to coffee. No way. You just see it and your brain says, coffee. It's instant. That's the goal. We want that same instant connection for every word, for every idea. Okay, I know what you might be thinking right now. Sure, that's easy for a kid, but I'm an adult. My brain is already set. Well, I'm here to tell you that is absolutely not true. The answer is a huge yes, you can do this. This isn't some magic talent you're born with. It's a skill you can learn because your brain is literally built to change.
I mean, think about how babies learn. They just listen, they copy, and they connect a sound directly to like their bottle or their mom. As adults, yeah, we have this habit of translating everything back to our first language. But here's the amazing part. We can teach our brain to skip that step. We can build those direct connections again just like a baby does. And this isn't just some nice idea. It's backed by science. The magic word here is neuroplasticity. Seriously, this concept is the key. It's what makes this whole thing possible for every single one of us.
So, what is neuroplasticity? All it means is that your brain isn't set in stone. It's like plastic. It can bend, it can change, it can form new roads and pathways. This means you can literally rewire it to think in English. It's not magic, it's just how our brains work.
All right, so we get it. It's possible. Our brains can change. The big question is, how? How do we actually do it? Well, let's get into the good stuff. The step-by-step blueprint for making this happen.
Here it is. This is the whole plan. Our roadmap to building that English brain. It's just 5 steps. We're going to surround ourselves with English, speak without fear, think in English, learn in context, and practice daily. Let's dig into each one.
First step, step 1, you have to surround yourself with English. This is all about immersion. You want to trick your brain into thinking English is everywhere. So listen to podcasts on your commute, watch short videos, change your phone's language setting to English right now. You're making English a normal, everyday thing for your brain.
Okay, step 2 is huge. You have to speak without fear. And that means letting go of being perfect. Look, your goal is communication, not perfection. If someone understands what you're trying to say, you won. Seriously, forget about waiting until you're perfect, because that day isn't real. Step 3. This is where we start rewiring from the inside. You need to think in English. And don't worry, you start super small. Just narrate your life in your head. Okay, I'm making coffee. This traffic is bad. It might feel a bit weird at first, I get it, but you are literally building a brand new habit inside your mind. All right, step 4 is about learning words the smart way. I want you to completely forget about memorizing lists of random words. It just doesn't work. Your brain needs context. It needs a story. So instead of memorizing ambitious, learn it in a sentence like, he is very ambitious. The sentence gives it a home, and that's what makes it stick.
And last but not least, step 5. Practice a little bit every single day. We're not talking about 2-hour study sessions here. No way. Just a few minutes of conversation is all you need. And you know what? Talking to yourself in the car or in the shower, that 100% counts. Consistency is everything.
So we've got the 5 steps. That's the blueprint. Now let's turn that into a super simple daily plan that you can literally start doing the second this is over. Here are a few super practical things you can do. Right now, wherever you are, look around and describe something in English, just in your head. The wall is white. Done. Or pull up a short clip online, listen to one line, and just say it back out loud. See, these tiny little actions, when you do them every day, they add up big time.
So, really, your daily routine can be boiled down to this: a little bit of listening, a little bit of thinking, a little bit of speaking, and a quick review of new words. That's it. It might only take you 10 or 15 minutes, but trust me, doing that every day, the results are going to blow you away.
Okay, the exercises are great, the plan is great, but none of it will work if you don't have the right mindset. This part is just as important as all the practice, maybe even more so. Let's talk about the mental game. You've got to avoid these 3 things. They're absolute fluency killers. Number 1, overthinking grammar. It'll just freeze you up. Number 2, being afraid to make mistakes. It just keeps you from talking. And number 3, translating. It keeps you right in that trap we talked about. You have to fight against these habits. And please, remember this. Every single time you make a mistake, I want you to think of it as proof that you're trying. That's all it is. It's not a failure. It's evidence that you're in the game, pushing yourself. So learn to love your mistakes because they mean you're making progress.
So there you have it. We've covered what an English brain is, why you want one, and exactly how to build it. Remember, this whole thing isn't about some massive change tomorrow. It starts with one tiny step, one single thought. So I'll leave you with a challenge, a question to get you started right this second. What's the very first English thought you're going to have today?